Hello and welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is a reading for Aquarius. If Aquarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I'm merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Aquarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And there is a Seven of Wands. That's very, very strong energy. So let's put that into some context, all right? We're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. And as I lay these cards out, I also would like to say if there's anything you need me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Okay. Finishing up here, Path of the Serpent. This is interesting. This is, yeah. Let's do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card, before I forget. Well, there's a couple. Let's see. This one is the King of Wands. So that might be important too. We're going to set that over there, and I'm going to organize the rest of these so we can get our mystery card. Okay. King of Wands. I wonder how that's going to play into all of this. I really see an important purpose for this fire energy here now. Okay. This King of Wands, I think, is really in charge of this Seven of Wands. We also have a Ten of Wands over there. So there is something into which you're putting a lot of effort. All right. And we're going to, and then we got these court cards too. This is going to be interesting. Mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. Finally got it. Alien on top. We're going to leave it over there. We're not going to look at it until the very end. And hopefully that card will tie everything together, give us the confirmation that we need. Okay, so we've got a lot of court cards here. We've got earth, we've got air and air. Obviously we have this Wands court card. We have fire, 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 more fire over here. So I feel like this, the King of Wands here, this is the fire of fire. This is the highest expression of fire energy that we are able to utilize, manipulate, control, direct, okay? And I feel like that's kind of what you're doing now, is you're trying to direct all of this fire energy. What exactly the fire energy is and where it's going, we're going to have to explore, because we've got a lot of court cards here. We've got a lot of air energy too with these two court cards, and we have the Fool energy. We've also got the Hanged Man. So it's very heavy on air, very heavy on fire, and then we got a little bit of earth and a little bit of water. That's it. All right, so the little bit of water that we have is going to be significant. It is the Hanged Man. It is in your general energy, and it's a major arcana. I think this is a heavy influence on you right now. But let's start at the beginning with the Seven of Wands. Now, I feel like you're not one to shy away from a problem, okay? I think even when you know that the chances of winning are pretty astronomical, you still fight. You're not someone that backs down from a challenge. I feel as if there is something that is putting you at odds with some really great force. It's almost like, I feel like you're kind of, you almost feel like the world is against you in some ways. Because I'm getting this feeling, because the Seven of Wands, like that's a Six of Wands with one additional staff right in front of it, right? I feel like right now the world may feel like it is a really big and powerful place, and your ability to change anything or do anything is quite diminished right now, right? There's almost this feeling of weakness at the moment. I feel that's changing. I feel we're turning all of that weakness into power and opportunity and direction. But I feel right now you're engaged in this fight. It's like you're pushing against the universe, right? we're struggling to make our way for ourselves. Rather than kind of going with the watery flow of things, which maybe that's what this Hanged Man is for. We have to kind of stop struggling and just let the current take us. I feel like right now you're trying to control things, even though it's little old you against the universe, we're not giving up. And that's a key aspect of this card. It's not giving up, even when it seems kind of hopeless. It seems kind of like we are being really overpowered. We're not giving up. And the King of Wands here, that card really forced its way out of the deck, right? And this is rare. I've never really had a reading quite like this before. The King of Wands here is saying that, look, you have all of this fire energy. You have to get a handle on it. You have to get control over this. We can't just be angry at the world. We can't just be fighting against the world because it's like pushing against a brick wall. We're not gonna move it, right? So by redirecting some of this fire energy and reconfiguring our water energy, which this is the only water we have, so we better pay attention. The King of Wands is saying that by doing all of this organization, structuring, redirecting of this fire energy, we can make things happen. We can affect positive change, 2 of discs at the end, change. We can affect positive change in our lives. That's perfect. I think that's a great message. I think the tarot is really trying to say, look, you have the means to do this. You just need to organize your power, right? Interesting also to note that the 7 of Wands is an odd-numbered card. It's a 7, right? It's active. The odd-numbered cards are active cards. They're reaching out. They're doing things, right? They're not waiting. They're not resting. They're not existing in a state. They're out there to change things. They're out there. I mean, you're up against a brick wall, though. But you're actively trying to do something. But this card, you're kind of trying to force it, perhaps. Okay. The rest of the fire, you gotta excuse me, I have such a sore throat today. The rest of the fire cards are even numbered cards. We have the 8, we have the 4, we have the 10. Even numbered cards are those states of organization and rest and consolidation. They are the foundation from which we can use the odd numbered cards, right? So the 8 of Wands is that resting state of organizing our forces from which the 7 of Wands can go out and do battle, right? Same with the 4 or the 10, depends on which configuration we're in, right? But each one of these represents a certain configuration of energy from which we can act. Okay, it's like a home base for the fire energy. For any of the cards or any of the suits, really. But we have all this fire here, which is really, this is really interesting because I feel as if the tarot, spirit, God, goddess, deity, whatever you want to call it, is really trying to get this message through to you via this King of Wands, that you have to be the King of Wands. It's not gender specific. You have to be in the highest authority over your fire energy, your activities, your emotions, your passions, your anger, perhaps, in order to affect positive change. Because right now, again, I'm going to restate with the 7 of Wands, it's like you're trying to push against a brick wall. It's not working. We need to find a different way to configure our energies, our power, our force, in order to move this brick wall or take it down or cut a doorway in it or whatever it might be, in order to get through that door, make progress to affect positive change in our lives. Okay. That being said, we have a lot of court cards here. We have this air energy, we have this earth energy. The fire, I don't know what to do with the fire card. I think I'll leave the King of Wands right there. But with the court cards here, I feel like the situation you're in involves some other people, maybe coworkers, maybe friends or family, But that's kind of, it's almost like they're the brick wall in some ways. Or they're kind of, maybe they're on the other side of the brick wall. Maybe they built the brick wall, whatever it is, you know. Let's try to apply them to our metaphor, okay? I feel like it could be you really struggling against this group of people at work, again, or it could be family. They could be family members. And I feel like somehow they're involved in this thing that you're fighting against, but you're not getting anywhere because it's an incorrect usage of this fire energy. All right. In the back of everything is this Prince of Discs or Pentacles. I think this is kind of representing an aspect of your energy. Now, the court cards are interesting. A little tarot lesson here. Having 3 court cards like this, especially in the horizontal axis of the path of the dove, these represent a group of people, not necessarily air signs or earth signs or whatever. Just a group of people that is involved in this situation that is represented also by that 7 of Wands, okay? But the 3 court cards, a group of people. Individually, these court cards are also representing an aspect of you and your energy. Since this Prince of Discs is in the past or is in the position of what's behind you, or what maybe led up to this situation, okay? I think that there was a lot of work done, and there was maybe someone that kind of went rogue, you know, kind of took matters into their own hands, made some decisions, did something physically, built something, sold something, bought something, changed something, completed made a decision at work or something like that, without the consent of the group, right? There was no consensus on the plan. And maybe this was you, maybe this was one of these other people, but this, I think, is what brought us to the situation now. That some decision was made, could be a family member, could be you in the context of your family. A decision was made that didn't have the consent of everyone involved, right? Sold something, bought something, whatever, right? I think that's what has led us here. Now, also, while we're here, what we really need is the Queen of Swords. We need this clarity. We need to rise above all of this fire energy. We got to get above the clouds, above the smoke and the smoldering embers of this fire energy, to really see what's going on and to get a better vantage point. Because I feel while you're in this energy, going up against this brick wall, this group of people, you're not going to be able to see things clearly, okay? You're not going to have any kind of objectivity. You're going to see things only what's immediately before you, which is the wall, which is the fire, which is these people. We need to get a better vantage point, okay? I think that's a very good step, is to try to back up a little bit, right? Go to higher ground where we can look down, maybe take a helicopter over the scene and just look at things. See what's really going on. That might give you a different perspective altogether. That might be enough to invoke a little bit of this Hanged Man. Now, as far as the configuration of the fire energy goes, we have a 4, we have an 8. What we really want is a 4. This is at the top of the path of the dove. We want cooperation. We want things to run like clockwork. We want everybody to know what they're supposed to do. We want to know what we're supposed to do and how we fit into the whole. If this is a wheel, every spoke is vitally important. If one spoke gets broken, the wheel doesn't seem to work that well. It's like the weakest link of a chain, you know. So we want everything to kind of roll along smoothly. We want to also feel as if our ideas are being taken seriously and are being implemented and are being given the opportunity to manifest, right? The fire here in the configuration of 4 is a manifestation of your ideas, your creativity, right? You want to not only be heard, because I think this is you struggling to be heard, Princess of Swords in the kind future card. What's before you? That's also the brick wall that's before you, okay? We'll get to that in just a minute. But the Four of Wands is you not just being heard and acknowledged and validated, right? That's fine. No, but we want our ideas to actually take form, to be given the opportunity to function in the real world, even if they don't work, even if they fail and we got to scrap it. We want to have the opportunity to implement our ideas. Now, again, this could be at work, this could be in your family or friends situation, this could just be in your personal, private life. Trying to give form to our ideas, trying to give form to our creativity. Even if it's finding a temporary home, right, for some of this fire energy. And this could be part of the problem why we're struggling against this group of people. Now, what if this isn't a group of people? What if this is just different aspects of your own personality? That sort of thing is possible. It doesn't need to be really a friend group or a work situation. It could be that the brick wall is really a part of yourself that you can't really get past, that you're unable to communicate with a certain aspect of yourself, you know. Getting a little bit more psychological, but anyway, the goal is to manifest our own ideas. It's not enough to just be heard and acknowledged and validated, but we want to actually be maybe trusted enough even to implement our ideas. See if they work. Maybe you have the greatest idea. Maybe your inspiration and your creativity is exactly what this thing needs. You at least want the opportunity to try to build the system, to make the prototype, to see if it's good or not. Maybe not. Maybe it will be the greatest thing ever, but maybe not. Directly below that, we see the Eight of Wands. This is the state of real anxiety. This is a state of really kind of needing to have that one direction, needing to have the one doorway cut through this brick wall to direct all of our force through. Because if not, we're getting all of this anxiety. It's kind of a claustrophobic feeling, really. It's like being locked up somewhere and you are starting to get very, very nervous, very anxious to just go. And if the door doesn't open in front of you, you're gonna just you're going to just like burst in every direction. You know what I mean? You're just going to kind of expend all of your energy in a haphazard way. You're just going to shake the cage and bang against the walls and, well, bash your head against the brick wall and you know, try to push it over, which is not going to help anything. So we need to find a path forward before this anxiety, this tension gets so powerful that it just is released in a fury, let's say. Okay. And this is that state of that feeling of not really being able to move, not having a direction. Now, we see also in the Eight of Swords, which we don't have here, thankfully. I'm happy we don't have that. But if we did, that would be yet another state in which that anxiety builds up, right? Because we're unable to communicate. It's that really intense frustration when you can't, like you're unable to speak or something, or you speak but nobody hears you, right? It's the same thing here with the Eight of Wands, but with the fire energy. The inability to act, the having no discernible direction right now causes that anxiety. Now, you may know exactly what you want to do. I think you do with this Four of Wands up here. But we're up against this brick wall. Something is blocking us. I feel like it is the dynamic between you and this group of people. But it could really be anything. Anything that's blocking you from getting up here to this Four, where you can manifest your ideas and give form to your fire. This here is what's blocking and causing this Eight of Wands, this anxiety, this real tension. Like I said, it's gonna build up to a fury if we don't find a way through this, find a way forward. Now, the Princess of Swords here, this is both the way forward and what's in front of you. It is the brick wall. This is someone or this group of people, maybe it's management, maybe it's, family members, maybe it's just society in general, or I don't know who. It feels as if they don't want to hear it, right? It feels like they won't even listen. It's almost, they feel kind of defensive. They might be feeling this kind of force coming from you, and they feel that they have to take a defensive position because there's this little bit of aggression maybe that they feel, right? So they're kind of trying to fend off your communication, let's say. And this card's also representing the different tactics that we could use to communicate, okay? Because we know that just having this burst of fire energy and banging against the wall is not helping anything. And that's a kind of primitive way of communicating, right? I mean, I guess you could kind of bang the SOS or something, or Morse code. But there are different ways to communicate, and the Princess of Swords is talking about finding new ways to express yourself that might be better received, okay? And I'm trying to be delicate with how I talk about these energies today, because this really is a unique situation that we're in. So this card really is talking about us finding new ways to communicate. It's almost like we have to be strategic. We have to communicate with others in a way that they'll be receptive to. To get past their defenses here. To really get our ideas through. To really share and exchange information, we have to do it in such a way that they'll be open to it, right? If they're always defensive, they're not going to be listening. They're going to be trying to fight you off, But if we can do that, and we get over here to there's some major energy over here. This is the major arcana of the spread. We've got the Hanged Man and the Fool, right? So start with the Hanged Man, general energy, coming off of the path of the Dove into this Hanged Man energy. Well, this could be a surrendering, right? This is kind of the exact opposite of this fire energy, trying to knock down this brick wall, trying to, chisel a doorway through it, or just ram it with our horns or something. This is a more passive, gentle, subtle way. Maybe the water is that kind of energy that's going to find those little cracks and crevices in the brick wall that it can just flow right through. See, water will always seek its level. It will always find a way through a structure, right? Unless something is really watertight. Water will eventually seep through, right? And a brick wall is porous. Water will eventually soak in. If there's enough water and enough time, it'll get to the other side. So this could be saying, hey, look, you can have your way. You can manifest your will in this situation. But it's going to take time. It's going to take kind of one drop of water at a time. A little bit every day. And eventually, you'll get through this and you'll get to whatever is on the other side for you. Which is, I think, again, creating positive change in your life. The Hanged Man's also going with the flow. This is also the idea that that you need to kind of be part of the whole. And, it's kind of democratic in that way. If the universe is heading in one direction, or you're trying to swim in the opposite direction, you're going to waste a lot of your energy. You're going to miss out on a lot of opportunity. You're going to be at odds with everything. And that's kind of what we see here, at odds. So the Hanged Man might be saying, look, you have to give up this swimming against the current. You're always trying to go against the grain, against the current, and it's not working. And now I don't know always. I don't like speaking in absolutes. I think right now, at this time in your life, maybe you're trying to swim against the current, okay? And it's not going to lead you anywhere. It's going to tire you out, which is exactly what we see coming up, the Ten of Wands. You're going to deplete yourself. Swimming against the grain, or cutting against the grain, or swimming against the current is going to do nothing but exhaust you of this fiery energy. Your creativity is going to be zapped. Your vitality, your physical energy is going to be zapped. Maybe even your resources, your money, your bank account gone. Your emotions are going to be just exhausted and drained, right? It feels to me like you will eventually tire of swimming against the current. I mean, just the thought of it sounds pretty exhausting. So I think the fire energy that we have here, and the way that we're trying to alleviate this anxiety, because we're up against this immovable brick wall, to get to the expression of our creativity, the manifestation of our ideas, giving form to our fire on the other side of this brick wall. The reason we're so anxious is because we're fighting this wall. We feel like this wall is in front of us. Well, taking a different approach might alleviate this anxiety, might make us realize that, hey, this brick wall really isn't even there, or it's full of so many cracks and crevices that we could easily just slide right through like water, right? And I think that is a good way to cool off some of this anxiety. Maybe we realize that we don't need to go up against this brick wall. We can go above or under or around it. Right? That's a 21 Pilots reference. But going head on with that is just all fire, and it's not going to you're not going to be able to break down the wall, and it's going to be very exhausting. You're doing nothing but, I think, injuring yourself, depleting your vital energy. Okay. So we've got the Hanged Man. Now, the Fool, if we can take a lesson from water, from the Hanged Man, we've got a little bit of this Fool energy. Now, the Fool is kind of the other approach, right? Because like water, like yielding, being maybe a little bit submissive to the consensus, to the group will, flowing like water to get our feelings and ideas through to the other side where we can manifest our ideas, using the water energy. The other alternative is to use the air, because the air, like water, will always find a way through. You can seal up your house as tightly as you can, but if there's a strong enough wind, you're going to get a draft. Because air will always find a way through. It'll always find that littlest crack, the littlest gap in the windowsill, right? Not everything is made perfectly level. One of these bricks is going to be just a little crooked, and the air will flow right through. Okay? And I think this is a pretty good tactic. This is one that is zero anxiety. There might still be some anxiety with the Hanged Man, you know. The Fool is someone that really doesn't care. They have this kind of, it's almost like this clown, like this jester kind of person that just seems carefree, seems like they're just up for anything. Whatever you guys want to do is fine with me, right? They seem a little silly. They seem like they don't take anything seriously. But that's the person that you got to watch out for, right? The person that just seems like kind of like a fool, right? Because they're the ones that might have the real strategy, the real plan, or might have the real wisdom, okay? So this is a different tactic. To be a little more carefree, to be a little bit more just, I'm up for whatever. It's less serious. The Hanged Man, pretty serious, right? The Fool, no, not serious at all. And when the group, or when this brick wall sees just this really nonchalant fool energy, doesn't really care, not interested in much of anything, just willing to go along with whatever you all want. Just goes in different directions, just like the wind, right? Like a fool. The brick wall may rest a little bit, may calm down. Maybe it might soften a little bit, right? It might loosen up. And that'll make it a lot easier to get the air through those cracks and crevices when now they're just kind of big gaps in the masonry. And we can get to that Four of Wands that we want. So it's two tactics, really, two different tactics. Whatever tactic you really choose, the message really here is for you to get control with this King of Wands, to get control over this fire energy, because this is doing nothing but exhausting you. You're not making any progress, and we're not getting to the positive change that we want. Okay, so this is the end of the path of the dove, the positive change. And this is you really, I think, transitioning from this really forceful fire energy to something else. And the something else is going to give you a lot more opportunity to do the Four of Wands that we see up here, to manifest your will and your ideas, give form to your fire, and to have a much better time doing it, because now you're kind of going with the inertia of the universe, with the momentum, rather than struggling against it. So the King of Wands was, well, basically the first card that we looked at, and it was really the summary of the message. We have to get control over this fire energy. Okay, that's the message. Let's look at the mystery card now. I know this video is going a little long, and I apologize. Thank you, Alien, for your services. Frog had a day off today. All right, mystery card. Some more water or some more air, maybe showing us which tactic you're most likely to try out first. Maybe some earth energy showing the cooperation. Could be a Six of Wands, actually, or a Six of Discs. Oh, well, it's the Hanged Man again. So you're definitely looking at things from a different perspective, right? I think at the very least, this is giving you some different angles to consider how to handle the situation. It seems that you might go this route of water, which is, a little bit more serious, a little bit more self-reflective, a little bit more yielding, a little bit more willing to adapt to the situation, not in the frivolous, I don't care what you do kind of attitude, but in a heartfelt kind of way, sacrificing a little bit of ourselves for the greater good, something like that. But at the very least, I think you're going to be looking at things differently, different perspective. Maybe one should be up, one should be down. And I think that this kind of self-reflection, right, with the water energy, it's a lot of looking at ourselves, right? We see into the water, into a clear lake or some calm water. It has that mirror-like effect. We can see ourselves. But if we refocus our eyes a little bit, we could see down into the water. So I think that perspective is going to give you a new angle, really, on all of this energy. And I think that's going to be good for you. We're going to do an extended, and if you want to stick around for that, Aquarius, please click on the link right up here. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. I appreciate you. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know how you're doing. And thank you for being the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot.